Thank you. And our team coverage now turns to Western Mass News reporter Olivia Hickey, who's standing by with support that's available from right here in Western Mass.
She joins us live in studio with the latest information.
Abby and Chris, from tow trucks to food and shelter, volunteers and businesses from our area are making sure all resources are ready to go to support those impacted by Helene's wrath.
It's important to remember that this is one of the most disaster exhausted regions of the country. Think of Hurricane Ian a couple of years ago, Idalia, Debbie a couple months ago.
Now Helene is making its way towards the Sunshine State. Efforts across Western Mass are now underway to support those living in the hurricane's path. Luca Calvani, a community disaster program manager for the American Red Cross, says their main focus is providing shelter. About a dozen volunteers from our area have been deployed to fill a variety of roles, including staffing evacuation shelters.
These are people who've been through a lot of disasters in recent times, and they need as much help as they can.
Meantime, Interstate Towing's help was requested by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. General Manager Stephen Gonville tells Western Mass News 3 trucks and crews are now en route to Tallahassee.
Should they need any assistance, we will be there, whether moving supplies, water, moving vehicles. My trucks are equipped. I sent enough equipment with them so they can move just about whatever they're going to need.
As for the Salvation Army, the organization's Southern Division has boots on the ground already. Canteens or mobile feeding units prepared to distribute thousands of meals. Director of Communications Heather McFarland tells us emergency disaster teams across our area are preparing to deploy if needed, but are also offering resources to locals who may be directly impacted.
If families up in Western Mass just need some place to go and talk about the impact, if they've lived through a hurricane, our teams are there to just speak to people, as they watch this on the news and what's coming out.
All the organizations say they will have resources available as long as they are needed. We've also learned members of the Greenfield Police Department have been deployed to help with preparation, rescue, and cleanup efforts. Coming up tonight at 6, I speak with Florida residents preparing for the storm, some with ties to our local area. Reporting in the studio for Western Mass News, I'm Olivia Hickey.